Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Yeah, Assalamualaikum and a very good afternoon to my lecturer, Ms. Hidayah. My name is Amirah Najib and my name is Maisarah Azman. Today we will present about Sunway Berhad and IOI Corporation Berhad. Okay. So come for company background, our group has chosen to big company which can be said as a blue chip stock share, and both companies come from the same sector, which is property companies, and that are Sunway Berhad and IR Corporation Berhad. So why we choose this company? Because of their big brand name, and their brand are like Masing and Sanda of the property world. So the reason why we choose Sunway Berhad and IR Corporation Berhad in Malaysia is just one of the two properties that are licensed to operate in Malaysia. So this company has used the advantage to build their scale to maintain their profitability businesses. So they have creating a strong economy and necessary to their maintain a very profitable business. So Malaysia government issued that this property in 5 years blueprint. So without they have a skill needed to compete successfully to incubus. So the newcomer end up throwing in the after a few years of the operation. So IOI Corporation Berhad Malaysia and Sunway Berhad Malaysia has built around this business. So the most comes from the economy of scale already achieved in this market. So rather than their government to avoid potential issues, land right and sustainability. So why we choose the project? Because the objective of this project is to analyze of the financial instruments that are tradable under the name of securities. So it can refer to analysis of the proper value of the individual securities like stock, share, bonds. So they have many analysis like we can look at later like capital appreciation, regular income, and the safety of the capital, inflation and liquidity. So I pass to Mai.
So for the next part is SWOT analysis. So first one, we move to Sunway Berhad. Okay, for Sunway Berhad, the main strength is a diversified conglomerate with presence in property markets in 4 countries. Sunway Berhad, their strength is also to merge entity will have 3.6 billion market cap, making it 4th largest property stock on Bursa Malaysia. The merger will also improve trading liquidity and complementary construction outfit, which minimize risk of a vacuum in earnings when property projects are completed. So for the weakness of Sunway Berhad is their net gearing is higher than peers, but may fall if Sunway successfully sells its property inventory. Other than that, the lion's share of earning is from property, which is more susceptible to slowing demand and interest rate hikes. Besides that, group appears to overprice some of its products, which had resulted in unsold inventory, which valued at 600 to 700 million, despite a reflecting property market. And next is the opportunity of Sunway Berhad. Is the merger will create abundant synergies estimated at 1 to 2% of total group revenue. Stronger collaboration between its property and construction arms with the use of virtual design and construction platforms is to reduce design faults, construction costs and delays. It also exploring new business in project management consultancy using the BDC. Next is the threats of the Sunway Berhad. The Sunway Berhad is rising interest rate and economic slowdown would be negative for its property business, and slower rollout of project and spikes in raw material costs will be detrimental to its construction business. Also, Sunway Berhad threats is to quarry business is highly dependent on the rollout of more infrastructure contracts. So we move to the SWOT of IOI Corporation Berhad. So for this first one, IOI Group is one of the leading brands in the foods and beverage sector. The main strength of IOI Group's corporation is excellent development of agri-science and technology to improve crop and oil yields to meet increasing global demands. For the weakness, IR Group Corporation Berhad is uncertainties in the form of commodity price risk, credit risk, foreign exchange risk, and also interest rate risk. And this other weakness is the manpower constraint, pressure on increasing operating costs, and extreme weather in the transportation division. So for the, we move to the opportunity of IOI Group Corporation. We found that the demand for palm oil will remain strong as consumption increases in select emerging economies coupled with the general global population growth. And the threat of IOI Group Corporation is that economic crisis in the Eurozone and the global economic slowdown result in lower global trade and investment. The second one is the IOI Group Corporation Berhad is in the refinery and specialty fat sub-segment. Stiff competition posed by the Indonesian resource-based manufacturer which have a cost advantage due to Indonesia's preferential expertise duty tariff structure. And lastly, the threat is it is unbearable legislation and government policies are contain threats. So for the next slides, I pass to Amirah.
So for the analysis, so we can get a share price list. So based on our findings, we can say that it's either for both IR Corporation Berhad and Sunway Berhad. So the IR Corporation Berhad company would be the preferable choice in terms of their making investment and is associated with high value of return over the period of time, including their value are not volatile if we were to compare with Sunway Berhad company. Sunway Berhad company is a very volatile measurement. High is also, but they exercise with low returns. So these variables that have been used to help to conduct our analysis have managed to this project and to help investors to make the right decision when it comes to doing the right investment. So because of the Sunway Berhad currency is very value of the unstable, so there maybe have investors having a rough time to mitigate risk to their result management of risk and yield returns. So this is very important to set up stable value of the indicate of the degree of the investment if uncertainty. So the Sunway Berhad that we analyzed and IOI Corporation Berhad share price over the past few years and it shows that IR Corporation share price value are high compared with Sunway Berhad. So high share prices do not guarantee a higher value of profit. So we can see that the high share prices can be proven through the set of results that we can obtain from this analysis. So from overall analysis that we can say that Sunway Berhad stock performance are better compared with IOI Corporation Berhad because of the low value of the share price. So for the portfolio selection, the capital asset prism are like capital model operating the required rate of return using of beta of an asset. So beta attempts to measure the riskiness of stock of investment over the time. So stock with beta greater than 1 are usually considered good than overall market. So for Sunway Berhad, the beta is negative 0.0019. So IR Corporation beta is valued negative 12.2929. So from this, we understand that Sunway Berhad has higher beta compared to IR Corporation. So for the equity, we can make assumptions based on market. Sometimes mispriced security, even more the market eventually have a correct as securities move back the fair value. So from this, we can say that we can calculate the equity is 2.3715. So industry look, my.
So for the next one is industry outlook. Okay. These are the competitors of Sunway Berhad and also IR Corporation Berhad. Sunway and IOI both companies are one of the top listed property company in Malaysia. Although the position has been secured after working their way to get to the top list among other well-known property companies, both companies sure has their way to keep up with its competitors. Some competitors are such as Mohd Group, Amirah, Navana Real Estate, and Salah Korea Sativa. And for the II Corporation Berhad, the competitors are Sam David and also Hubsang. So we move to the next slide. It's the technical analysis. Um, well, we talk about Sunway Berhad first. As we can see, the graph shows of 3 years, 2018, 19, and also 20. So from the 2018, we can say that from January 2018 until December, Sunway Berhad price is in downtrend movement. The price can break the resistance price, which the lowest was at 8.4315 million, which it able to go higher and stop at the next supply area. As we can see on the graph above, which there is complete level of the market structure. As can be seen, the trend is uptrend and the price will follow the corrective and impulsive movement, where the corrective is retracement or pullback price movement, and impulsive is under continuation price and movement, where it heading, which under the case is uptrend. So for the 2019, we can say that it has set up been nicely from which is double bottom and double top, which made the price follow the pattern mechanism, either to go high or lower. As shown in the graph, there is blue descending line which act as resistance trend line, and the price has been break the TL technical analysis, and the price is expected to go higher. But there are drop drastically, but the trend was recovery uptrend because of the Malaysia recover economics. And as you can see, the graph in 2020, the chart started of the year 2020 as it get into the uptrend, where the were higher highs and the higher lows. The price started at the beginning of the year at open price, and the uptrend goes on for about 4 months. Starting at the end of April that year, the share price started to go into the downtrend, which is showcases the lower highs and the lower lows. The open price is at 28 of April in 2020 was highest, and the close price of lowest. The closing price marks the end of the uptrend of the first quadrant of that year, and started the downtrend, which goes by the lowest highs and the lowest lows. So as we can see, we move to the IOI Corporation Berhad. As you can see, in 2018, started from January 2018 to the December, the graph shows that the overall price movement is nicely uptrend, with black line to shows the impulsive move made by IOI Corporation Berhad. And throughout the year, the setup has been nicely from which is double bottom and double top, made the price follow the pattern mechanism, either to go lower or higher. So in 2019, in January 2019, the graph has been continuous uptrend with the major retracement, and during early January, the RSI already dropped below than the level, and the price continued to move higher after the golden cross have happened at the indicator. So in the 2020, in July 2020 has been continuous uptrend without major retracement, and during early January, the RSI already dropped below than negative 0.0040 level, and the price continue move higher after golden cross happened at RSI indicator. So for the next slide, I pass to Amirah.
So for the conclusion, like the fact that the property industry is a large and more thriving, so we can accept that its beneficial is their own way. So we like to start as going through the ratios and measure. So for example, in all 3 years, IOI Corporation has a higher CAR ratio than Sunway Berhad. So this suggests that IOI Corporation has done a better job of handling the company's liquidity than Sunway Berhad in terms of meeting short terms of obligations. So when we compare the values of these two firms, so we can see that Sunway Berhad outperforms more than IOI Corporation. So for dividends are very significant source of income of their many shareholders, but to maintaining the dividends requires that continued help of the company. So IOI Corporation Berhad has paid out almost all of its profits, but most people believe that the firm is taking advantage of their situation. So Sunway Berhad has already paid out 83% of its free cash flow in their dividends, so which is like within industry norm. So um, Sunway Berhad would restrict the company capacity to raise the dividends of the company to make sure does not develop to their company. So the company high payout ratio and the fact that it pays more than a half of the cash flow, so Sunway perhaps may not be the best company to invest. So the company is having difficult time reinvesting in the business to boost in their position. So for recommendation, that if IOI Corporation Berhad is optimal choice for potential investor to invest this company, profitability performance are very progressively increasing with their liabilities because their liabilities is very low due to the efficiency in financial obligation, because that is very important factor to take into their consideration to assess the company well-being throughout of the year. So the potential future development of this property to grow industry, especially since Malaysia are going for a set economy with industry 4.0 revolution that will occur in nearest future, is a great opportunity that will support IR corporation objectives and their goals. So for Sunway Berhad, it's becoming increasingly difficult for the company to success, especially in the current economy climate where the pandemic has occurred and high global property price are creating unfavorable factors for II corporation to perform well in the market. So investor would maybe difficult to invest in II corporation based on historical price that might tell. So and a kinetic map. So as compared to Sunway Berhad single asset, so II corporation is the preferred company to invest rather than Sunway Berhad because it's a higher return and has a lower valuation of dispersion of data, implying that its price movement in the market is not highly volatile. So thank you so much. This is all from us.
Okay, in your opinion, what how performance for both company for future next 5 years or more than that for long term?
So for me, for IOI corporation, for me it's a foreign asset. If like right now it's a current pandemic is to the invest right now is very high risk because COVID-19 is very until now it's not stable, so their growth rate is very unstable. So in the future, maybe we want to invest, it's difficult and we still don't know how the market price and the how to say the potential our country right now. So for the Sunway Berhad, if we can see now the investor is and the growth rate year by year is very low, and I think it's very risk also to we as to invest to them because the pandemic hit so around the world, like in Malaysia also, so we don't know how the market price and how to invest and how it can be strong to invest and how we can take that things to get high profit from them.
I think if both company has a proper plan, so saya rasa there's no problem in the future in the next 5 years.
But how you say, okay, when you I think that you Maisarah okay have present about technical analysis. So you think that in technical analysis way in the future the result will be they have opportunity to make profit uptrend or downtrend? Due to this one is period that historical, right? So
Yes.
what is your opinion for future? Is it they will constant like this one okay, or it will adjust rapidly, okay, due to economic situation and so on.
I think for Sunway Berhad, in the next 5 years in the future, dia punya business in the future, I rasa dia boleh compare to IOI Corporation Berhad. Sebab kejap Anis.
Okay.
Sebab kalau compare to both companies, I think Sunway lagi better daripada IOI. So kalau tengok daripada technical analysis ni, in the next 5 years dia boleh lah baguslah company dia. Dia still boleh, even though sekarang dia tengah krisis dengan COVID-19.
Okay, no problem. That's all. Thank you. That's all for today. And then,
Thank you.
okay. So whatever you have done today includes the recording and the what we call this the slide. You may put it in the GC. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Miss.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.